What's going on? Yeah, he lives in Deerfield, so. Well, everybody's late. Probably. I wondered, I got here at late, and I'm like, where is everybody? Because I ran late. I took a nap. Huh? I'm exhausted, trying to deal with my mom. My mom just had a panic attack as I was driving here. She calls me 20 times a day and asks me to talk her out of it. So I'm just tired of being everybody's psychologist.
Unfortunately, that sounds like my mom. I finally found out what it meant when my mother said to me, "Oh, when you're coming this weekend, that will make everything all right." Found out that she was hallucinating, having panic attacks, fighting people, and they could never get the drug.
Same thing. Mom, the same thing. She refuses. She just yelled at me now that the doctor told her that it's a bad idea to go on anti-anxiety meds. I said, what's better, Mom? You acting like this or getting this under control? And I don't like I don't like meds, but if you're at that juncture where you cannot function, and I have to move her here in 3 weeks.
I was put on
the screen. And then she was panicking because her house just went on the market. She cried just now. I only have 3 showings tomorrow. Mom, that's good.
For 1 day?
1 day.
In 1 day?
1 day, 3 showings.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I said, that's good, Mom. Why do you? She goes, no, the realtor said I was supposed to have 1 million of them. I go, oh God, Mom. I said, 1 day at a time. Breathe in, breathe out. It takes one person to put it off, you know?
Yeah. Or why?
Truthfully, I want the house.
It must have cleared because it's so traffic.
Yeah, people are coming in. We'll probably have to start over.
Nothing like start
Need a shit time.
Notice the candlestick?
Oh yeah. Oh shoot. Are they fresh?
The candles are fresh, but they...
Why is it burning? We have a burned table to prove it. From a birthday party gone wrong now. I'm always playing with fire. Like that TV show from the 90s. They're probably travel to how was Seattle? How was the graduation? Oh, I thought it was graduation.
Oh, got it. Oh, boy.
We're here, Anthony.
Boy, this is
You
really...
made it. You got through the cop
It's
car.
here. Oh, perfect.
I heard there was like
Boy,
something going on.
stuff.
Some cop stuff.
Oh,
Yeah, there was something
boy.
going on.
Gosh. Oh, I'm just going to do this. Oh, that doesn't work either. Man. I'm just going to do this the whole time.
You should just wear sunglasses. Oh yeah, it's bad. It's bad over here too.
I know. Oh, no, you can't win. All right. Ready to get going?
Can you move
Great.
over?
Shabbat Shalom, everybody. I wish I could see you, but the glare is horrible. Right? Exactly. But we're going to get started with our Shabbat Nigun. There is no page number. All you have to know is Shabbat Shalom.
I'm also blinded.
Doesn't get any better.
Lai lai la lai lai ya lai la lai lai ya lai la lai lai ya la lai ya la lai ya lai la lai lai ya lai la lai lai ya lai la lai lai ya la lai ya la lai ya lai la lai lai ya la lai ya la lai ya lai la lai lai ya la 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 lai. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. Yalai, 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 yalai.
Shabbat Shalom. We turn to page 5. In the middle to bottom of page 5, we have our prayer Shalom Aleichem, a prayer inviting all the ministering angels that accompany us on Shabbat. Page 5.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachi Hasharet, Malachi Elyon. Mi Melech Malachi Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Lachem L'Shalom, Malachi Hashalom, Malachi Elyon. Mi Melech Malachi Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Barichuni L'Shalom, Malachi Hashalom, Malachi Elyon. Mi Melech Malachi Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Zeichem L'Shalom, Malachi Hashalom, Malachi Elyon. Mi Melech Malachi Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
We ask that if you're able, you please rise. As we turn back to page 4 for our candle lighting blessing, we're going to light our candles here. And you're welcome to light yours at home right now if you're joining us virtually, as we'll join together in just a moment on the left side of page 4.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidishanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner, v'tzivanu להדליק נר
You may be seated. We turn now to page 11. On page 11, we have the Chun Eranana, a psalm that tells us to sing out to God because of the beauty in our universe. Page 11.
Lechon eranena, lechon eranena, lechon eranena al Adonai. Lechon eranena, lechon eranena, lechon eranena al Adonai. Naria, naria, לצור אישנו נקדמה פניו בתודה. נריע, נריע, לצור אישנו, בסבירות נריע לו. לכון נרננה, לכון נרננה, לכון נרננה על אדוני. לכון נרננה, לכון נרננה, לכון נרננה על אדוני. לכון נרננה, לכון נרננה, לכון נרננה על אדוני. לכון נרננה, לכון נרננה, לכון נרננה על אדוני.
Turn now to page 16, and on page 16, 4 lines up from the bottom of the page, we have the end of Psalm 97, Or Zarua La Tzadik, may light shine in the world, but not this brightly.
Or Zarua La Tzadik, U'li'Yisrael Simcha. צדיק ולישראל שמחה. אור זרוע לצדיק ולישראל שמחה. אור זרוע לצדיק ולישראל שמחה. Lai 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 ya la lai 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 ya lai 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 ya la lai 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 ya lai 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 lai.
Please turn to page 20. And on page 20, 3 lines up from the bottom of the page, we have the end of Psalm 99, Romemu.
Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu lehar kodesho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu lehar kodesho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu lehar kodesho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu lehar kodesho.
We turn now to page 21. We ask that if you're able, you please rise as we'll sing together Psalm 29, a psalm all about the great strength that God exhibits in our world. Page 21.
מזמור לדוד, הבו לאדוני בני אלים, הבו לאדוני, כבוד ועוז, הבו לאדוני, כבוד ישתחוו לאדוני בהדרת קודש, כל אדוני על המים, אל הכבוד הרים, אדוני על מים רבים.
עובר ארזים, וישבר אדוני את ארזי הלבנון, וירקידם כמו עגל לבנון, וסריון כמו ורבים, איי כל אדוני חוצב ועבודש, כל אדוני יחיל מדבר, יחיל אדוני מדבר קדש, כל אדוני חולל הילות, ויחשוף יערות ובחלו כולו מרכבון, איי אדוני למה לא ישב וישב אדוני מלך לעולם, אדוני עוז לעמו ייתן, אדוני יברך את עמו בשלום, איי You may be seated. We turn now to page 23. On page 23, 24, and 25, we have Lecha Dodi, the song that welcomes in the Shabbat bride. And we're going to be doing today the first two stanzas and the last two stanzas, the first two on page 23, the last two paragraphs on page 25. Right before the last paragraph on page 25, we rise, we turn, and face the entrance. Again, we'll be on page 23 with Lecha Dodi.
לקראת קהלה פני שבת נקבלה, לך דודי לקראת קהלה פני שבת נקבלה, שמור וזכור בדיבור אחד, השמיענו אל המיוחד. אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשמור תפארת ולתהילה, לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה, לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי היא מקור הברכה. מראש מקדם נסוכה, סוף מעשה
במחשבה תחילה. Page 25.
אדוני לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה, ימין ושמאל תפרוצי ואת אדוני תריצי, על יד איש נגילה.
Please rise.
חדותי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. בואי בשלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה. תוך אמוני סגולה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה. לך דודי לקראת קהלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קהלה, בני שבת נקבלה.
You may be seated. We turn to page 27, and on page 27 we have the first half of our psalm for the day of Shabbat. Mizmor Shir Leyom HaShabbat. Page 27.
מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. להגיד בבוקר חסדך, ואמונתך בלילות. עלי אסור בעלינה, ועלי היגיון בחינוך. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. כי שימחתני אדוני בפועלך, במעשה ידיך ארנן. מה גלו מעשיך אדוני, מאוד עמקו מחשבותיך. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון.
Turn to page 28, and 8 lines up from the bottom of page 28, we have the end of Psalm 92, the psalm for Shabbat, Tzadik Katamar Yifrach.
Tzadik katamar yifrach, ki eretz balvanon yizkeh, shetu
Chatzrot Eloheinu Yafrichu Odevun Beseva Deshenim Verananim Ihu Leagid Ki Asher Adonai Suri Velo Page 29.
יראותיך נאמנו מאוד, להביטך נא וקודש, אדוני לאורך ימים.
On page 30, we have the first of our two mourners' Kaddishes tonight. If you're observing Yortzeit or in mourning, or if it's your custom, feel free to rise. Kaddish Yatom Mourners' Kaddish is found on page 30. Yitzgadal ve'yitzgadash shemei Rabbah. Be'alama divra kirute ve'amlich malchute. Bechayechon uvyomechon uvechaye dechol beit Yisrael. Ba'agala uvizman kari v'imeru amen. Yehe shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam ulamei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar v'yitale v'yitalal shmei dekudisha brichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tush bechata v'nechtamata. Damiran be'alma v'yimeru amen. Yehe shlama Rabbah min shmaya. V'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimeru amen. Oseh shalom b'mramav. Hu yaseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimeru amen. You may be seated. Shabbat shalom, everybody. The sunlight situation has gotten better, as you can see from the lack of shine from my forehead. So we'll continue to pray and hope. I want to talk a teensy bit about a story that has been going around Facebook forever. And I finally looked into it because I was curious. And I don't know, there are websites like Snopes and things like that that can help to give the authenticity of a story. And you know, as nice as stories are, a lot of the time, sometimes they're just stories and they're not true. And I needed to know, is this true, is it not true? And maybe y'all have seen it if you like Facebook or stories. There's a story that supposedly was true, and I'm having trouble finding it not being true, so I think it is true. But if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and it's a good story. The story has, on Facebook especially, there's a picture of two people, like, racing, and there's one dude in front of the other one. I don't know if he's pushing him or what. And then underneath is this caption, and it talks about the story. And the story goes like this. In 2012, there was a race somewhere. And in the race, there were racers. And the guy who was in first place was coming to the end of the race. He was a Kenyan man. But for whatever reason, he didn't know exactly where the finish line was. And so he didn't know, am I supposed to go this direction or that direction? He's right at the end of the race, and he didn't know, do you go left, do you go right? One way is to finish the race, and the other way is just incorrect, and he wouldn't finish the race. Meanwhile, there's a guy a little bit behind him who's from Spain. That guy knows which way to go the race. He didn't get confused. And he realizes that the guy in front of him from Kenya doesn't know which way to go. So what does he do? So what he did is he tried to tell the guy in front of him which way to go to finish the race and win the race. But that didn't really work. And so what he ended up doing was he ended up pushing the guy who was in front of him the direction he was supposed to go, pushing him over the finish line. So the guy in front of him, the Kenyan man, got first place, and the Spanish man got second place. And they say in the story, what a nice story. Isn't that a nice story? It's a nice story. So it goes around Facebook, and everybody says, wow, what a great story. But if you look into the story further, what's fun is they have the questions that were asked of the man as to why he would do such a crazy thing as forfeit first place and take second by helping out his competitor. Doesn't he know you want to be number one, and number two is for losers? And that's the question we're left with, and they answer it, and we will answer it. But I thought, oh, it's perfect. The same mentality that racer exhibits is the mentality that God wants the Kohanim to hold in this world. How do we know that? This week's Torah portion has something that's probably the most famous blessing there is in Judaism. We can argue it another time. The priestly blessing. Parshat Naso has this priestly blessing. How does it work? God says, well, Kohanim, Aaron, and all the priests, you're going to do this thing throughout the generations where you're going to bless everybody. And you know, they do the Spock thing with the fingers, live long and prosper. They're going to bless all the people. Exactly. You guys are good at it. They're going to bless all the people all the time, right? And they do this thing called duchening, and in various congregations, they do this on the Shalosh Regalim or on the high holidays, or in Israel, they do it every single day, right? And we say the priestly blessing. Really, really important blessing. All the Kohanim have a responsibility to do it. And there's this funny teaching we get in Mishnah Megillah, which is the year 200 or earlier. So it's a long time ago. We learned this thing that says, if you're a priest and you have mumim, which are blemishes, you can't do the priestly blessing. Isn't that sad? Wouldn't that be horrible? You get up there to do the priestly blessing, they say, sorry, you got a little callus on your finger, you're going to have to leave. And so you get off the stage all sad. You wanted to bless the people and you're not allowed. And so I racked my brains. What could it be? Why can't you give the priestly blessing if you have blemishes? And the tradition has one answer and some more answers. And I didn't like the first answer, so I went looking for more answers, and I found an answer that is more appealing. So here's the answer I don't care for, but you can like it if you like. The answer goes like this. Why shouldn't a priest do the priestly blessing if they have blemishes? Well, imagine the blemishes are things we can see. Let's imagine, I don't know, they're missing a finger. Or they have this example, they're a clothes dyer, so their hands are perpetually blue, right? So they get up there to bless, and you say to yourself, wow, that guy has blue hands. That's really interesting. So what do? Well, you start looking. You start looking at the priest, and the priest goes to do the priestly blessing. Are you supposed to look at the priest when they do the priestly blessing? You're not. People turn away, they put on their tallis, they hide. You're not supposed to look. Why aren't you supposed to look? Because tradition says God's Spirit emanates where they do it, and if you look at God's Spirit, your eyes get dim, right? Isaac lost his eyesight. Why? One of the traditions says he saw too much of God all at once. You see too much God, you can't see this world anymore. So that's what the tradition says. One of the answers, the priests can't do it if they have blemishes. Why? Because you're going to harm the people. They're going to look at you. They're going to say, whoa, that guy has 4 fingers on this hand and 6 on the other. And then next thing you know, they're going to become blinded. That answer's fine. I don't like that answer. You know why? It's just not so rich and spiritual. It seems very practical. We like a practical religion, but we like a spiritual religion. So here's the answer I found that I like even more, and I think it relates to the same sort of character that runner exhibited. You see, in Midrash Tanchuma, there's this fascinating thing that they pick on. If you look at the priestly blessing, a line before the priestly blessing, it says, the priest shall say, and it's written, Aleph, Mem, Vav, Resh. Does that matter to any of us? No, probably shouldn't, right? Why does that matter? Well, you see, it could have been written Aleph, dot in the air, right? Chaser, we say, without the Vav stick. You just write the little circle in the air as a vowel. Mem, Resh. It could have just been 3 letters and a little circle at the top. It didn't need the stick. So what does the stick teach us? This is Judaism at its best. What does a tiny little mark of a pen teach us in our Torah? So the tiny stick, Midrash Tanchuma, teaches us that the word is written full. We say maleh. Right? When a vav is there, we say cholam maleh. It's a vav with the dot on top instead of one without it. Why does it matter that it's written full? Because it hints at us something, that when you say the priestly blessing as a priest, you don't say it hastily and you don't say it half-heartedly. You have to say it with your full self. And Midrash Tanchuma ends by saying, you say it to your fellow with a full heart. Your job in that moment as a priest is to completely bless the person in front of you. If you do it halfway, do we want you? No, we don't want you. That's a blemished priest, right? The opposite of mumim, having blemishes, is being tamim. It's being perfect or being complete. An incomplete priest is the kind of priest who only blesses people half-heartedly. A half-hearted blessing doesn't count at all. In Judaism, we say, bracha levatala. It's a blessing made in vain because you didn't mean it. Because I looked out at all of you, and I have blemishes, and I said, I don't really care if their lives get better when I say this blessing. I'm doing it because I look good doing it, or something similar. And the tradition says, great, if that's how you feel about it, then don't bless anybody at all. And on the flip side, if you're the kind of priest who shows up to serve the people with a full heart, then we need you. You know, as a kid, so funny. I was the most jealous in synagogue of the Kohanim. You know, I was jealous. I only went to shul twice a year as a kid. See, you too can become a rabbi. I only went to shul twice a year as a kid. And so I only saw the high holidays, and my synagogue always did the priestly blessing, the duchening. Of course, I never looked, God forbid. But I was so jealous. They always get to go up there, and people wash their feet. I wanted people to wash my feet, right? Like, the Kohanim are like royalty, I thought to myself. And then I learned more about the Kohanim. And you know what? They make money whenever you redeem a child, right? Pidyon ben, firstborn, they get money for that. I said, that is a good gig. And then I went to rabbinical school and I learned that priests get special food, truma. I said, this is great. Why, God? Why am I not a Kohen? I could have the first Aliyah. And I would complain and kvetch about it. And then I sort of realized that actually being a Kohen is not like being the king at all. It's like being a servant to all the other people. Because what is the Kohen really doing with all those special honors? Honoring everybody else. The Kohen goes up to bless everybody else. The Kohen goes up to serve in a role to take care of everybody else. The only reason why we give them special things is because they can't make money on their own back in the day, because they're constantly serving others. That's the kind of person you want as a Kohen, one whose whole heart is out there serving others. And so returning to the end of the story of the racer, they ask him the question, are you crazy, man? Look at you. You ended up in second place, you blemished human. Horrible. You should have taken first. And his answers are so good. So first they say, and it might be apocrypha, but I don't care, it's great. They say to him, the reporter says, why did you do this? And the Spanish racer says, my dream is that one day we'll live in a community where we push ourselves and others to win. So sometimes I'm the winner, but sometimes you're the winner. And either way, my heart is in it completely. So then the reporters are nudges, they're annoying. So then the reporter said, oi, that's not a good answer. Why did you let him win? And he said, let him win? He was ahead of me the whole time. All he had to do was turn right and not left. Let him win. He was going to win. The reporter said, you know what I mean. You could have taken advantage. You could have gone ahead of him. Why didn't you? And the Spanish racer said, what would it mean to win like that? That would be a hollow victory. How would the medal feel? What would my mom think? I like that one the most. What would my mom think? And would my country be proud of me? And the answer to all of those questions is no. You see, it might have been first place. It might sound like glory to be standing there like a Kohen blessing the people, but it would be empty like a Kohen with a half heart. It wouldn't be a real victory, because ultimately it'd be taking advantage of your fellow. No, he says, the opposite. I want to push others to be the best them they can be. Others are equal to me in terms of merit and worth in the world. I want them to succeed too. See, he didn't know it, but he's a little Kohen, this racer. And what he did, it's funny because you say to yourself, well, he did lose though. He did get second place. But look at this story. It's been going on for 9 years now. It continues to circulate. It's going to continue to circulate because at the end of the day, the message is so strong and so important. It's not about winning the little race. It's about winning the big race. And that means taking care of the human race. That means looking out at the other and saying, how can I help you today with a full heart? It's not going into things half-heartedly. That's why we can't have a Kohen be the one to bless the community if their soul is blemished, because they're the example setter for the rest of us. They're the servers of the community, and if they can't serve the community, then we need to find someone else. And so we find for ourselves too in this world, we probably hit it on both sides. Sometimes we feel like we're full-hearted, and actually there are blemishes there, and we don't want to see them, but they're there. So first off, I hope that you can find where those blemishes are and work them out, because it doesn't mean a Kohen can never give the blessing. They just need to work out their blemishes. The second thing is sometimes you might feel like society says you're blemished and you know you're not. You know you're tamim, you're whole, you're perfect, you're coming with all the right intentions. And so in those moments, I'm going to tell you, don't be discouraged. Don't let society shape how you should feel or how you should be. Go against the current. The fact that a reporter said to the racer, "Why did you do this? Why did you do that?" means that in society, most of the time, we look out for ourselves before we look out for others. And the fact that he didn't doesn't mean he was wrong. It means that society has some catching up to do. And so my blessing to all of us is that we do that. We examine our souls. We uproot the blemishes where we find them. We take care of the parts that are tamim and whole. And when we do that, we ensure that we serve as a mamlechet kohanim. You know, God says you are a kingdom of priests. That's what you need to aspire to be. All of us have the job. It might have been the priests originally, just the kohanim who get the aliyah, who would come up and say, "You are blessed." Now all of us have the opportunity to approach everyone else in our world with a full heart and to say, "You too are blessed. I care about you as much as I care about myself." When all of us cultivate that sort of thing, we'll see stories like this a lot more. We won't have to wait 9 years for another one to come up. Shabbat Shalom. I call up my colleague Rabbi Cohen for Mariv.
We're going to ask our Bat Mitzvah Leah if you'll come forward. She's going to be helping us this evening. The shakach to Rabbi Richards. Leah, if you'll come forward and grab a sidor behind you. So we ask if the congregation will please rise as we turn to 39A. 39A, there you will find the beginning of the evening service as we join together with Orit and Leah.
La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. Baruchu et Adonai Hamevorach.
Seated.
ומעביר יום ומביא לילה ומבדילו בין יום ובין לילה אדוני צבאות שמו על חי וקיים תמיד ימלוך אלינו לעולם ועד ברוך אתה אדוני המעריב ערבי.
Amen. Page 40 you'll find Ahavat Olam as we join together.
אהבת עולם בית ישראל עמך אהבת תורה ומצוות חוקים ומשפטים אותנו לימדת על כן אדוני אלוהינו בשוכבנו ובקומנו נשיח בחוקיך ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו והם נגד יומם בלילה כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו ובהם נגד
yomam v'layla ki hem chayenu v'yorech yameinu uvahem nege yomam v'layla ki hem chayenu v'yorech yameinu uvahem nege yomam v'layla ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 la
ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל.
You'll find the Shema as Leah leads us, 41.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. ואהבת
את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם, ושבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך. On page 41 in the English, we read together, "You shall love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all that is yours. These words that I command you this day shall be taken to heart. Teach them again and again to your children. Speak of them when you sit in your home, when you walk on your way, when you lie down, and when you rise up. Bind them as a sign upon your hand and as a symbol above your eyes. Inscribe them upon the doorposts of your homes and on your gates." We continue as we turn over to page 44. There you will find Mi Chamocha, our song of jubilation as we crossed the Red Sea, as we celebrated freedom from slavery in Egypt. Page 44.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש, נורא 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 תהילות אוסף פלא. מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש, נורא 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 תהילות אוסף מלכותך רבניך בוקע ים לפני משה. זרי זרי ענו ויאמרו מלכותך רבניך בוקע ים לפני משה. זרי זרי ענו ויאמרו מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש, נורא 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 תהילות אוסף פלא. מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש, נורא 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 תהילות אוסף פלא. אדוני ימוך לעולם
lo leolam vaed. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh nora nora, nora tehilot, o sefer, o sefer, o sefer.
ונאמר כי בדע אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק בימינו ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל.
Amen. On page 45, you will find our second bracha after the Shema, our Hashkivenu prayer. It is a prayer that we actually traditionally said on the bedside as we went to bed at night. It's a prayer for peace. It's a prayer for shalom as we end the day and hopefully awaken to a brighter tomorrow. You'll see the image of a canopy of peace, of sukkah of peace. We know a sukkah is fragile, and it's up to us to work towards that peace. I think we know that this week, with what we've been enduring in Israel, that peace is certainly a fragile thing, and it's something we have to work towards very hard. So page 45, we read in the English together this bracha for shalom. Allow us, Adonai, our God, to sleep peacefully. Awaken us to life, O Sovereign. Spread over us your canopy of peace. Restore us with your good counsel, and save us for the sake of your name. Shield us. Remove from us enemies, pestilence, sword, starvation, and sorrow. Remove the evil forces that surround us. Shelter us in the shadow of your wings, for you, God, watch over and deliver us. And you, God, are sovereign, merciful, and compassionate. Ensure our going and coming for life and peace, now and forever. May you spread over us your canopy of peace. Baruch atah Adonai, who spreads the canopy of peace over us, over all the people Israel, and over Jerusalem. Amen. We can join together in the Hebrew on page 45. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom v'hamidenu malkeinu lechayim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom v'hamidenu malkeinu lechayim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom v'hamidenu malkeinu lechayim. Ushmo tzitenu On page 46, you'll find Vishamru, we rise as we join together, reminding ourselves of the importance of Shabbat as a sign of the covenant between us and God. Page 46, as Orit and Leah lead us. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat לדורותם בריתונם ושמרו בני ישראל את לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין ישראל, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני, עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. Chatzi Kaddish, the middle of 46.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה.
Amen.
ועלמא דברה חירותי ויבליך מלכותי.
בחייכנו וביומכנו חיי דכל בית ישראל. בגלה ובזמן קריב ויאמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם לעולמי עולמי יתברך.
יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי קודשה
בריחו
להילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה.
תושבחתה בנחמתה דם יהירן בעלמה ויאמרו amen. You'll find the silent Amidah for this evening beginning on pages 47 through 52. Please feel free to add words to your own words to the words on the page, and when you are through, you are welcome to be seated.
שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם.
את עמך תשים לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. We're on 51. כי אתה הוא מלך אדון לכל השלום. כי אתה הוא מלך אדון לכל השלום. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. וטוב בעיניך לברך את עמך ישראל בכל עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם. If you're still standing, you're welcome to be seated. We turn back, or forward rather, in our Siddur to page 173. There you'll find the special Misha Berach, our special prayer for healing. We certainly need this special prayer in our world today as we pray for physical healing for those in need, and certainly spiritual and emotional healing for all. Page 173 on the left. מי שברך אבותינו מקור הברכה לאימותינו. May the source of strength who bless the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mi sheberach imoteinu mekor haracha bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen. Refuah shlema. We turn back in our Siddur to page 54. There you will find Kaddish Shalem as we join with Leah and with Orit.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה.
Amen.
ויעלמה דברה חירותי וימליך מלכותי וחייכון ויומכון וחיי לכל בית ישראל בגלה ובזמן קריב וימרו.
Amen. יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם עולמי עולמיה יתברך.
יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה.
בריחו
בריחו לאילן מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירם ביעלמה והימרו.
אמן.
תתקבל צלותיהון ובתיהון לכל ישראל, קדם אבוהון בשמיה ואמרו.
אמן.
יהי שלמה רבה בן שמיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו.
אמן.
עושה שלום במרומם, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו.
If you'll turn to page 55 and rise, there you will find Kiddush for Shabbat. We toast the beginning of Shabbat, and we certainly toast Leah and her family as she becomes a Bat Mitzvah this Shabbat. It's a special Shabbat for her and her family and for our congregation when any of our youth celebrate in this special way. So page 55, we toast with a little bit of grape juice Shabbat and our Bat Mitzvah. 55.
ברוך אתה אדוני
Eloheinu
מלך העולם, בורא פרי הגפן.
Amen.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר קידשנו במצוותיו
ורצבנו
בשבת קודשו באהבה וברצון
הנחילנו
זיכרון למעשה
בראשית
כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים. כי בנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים לשבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת.
Amen. L'chaim. We remain standing as we turn to page 56. There you will find Aleinu as we all join together.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויסד הארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו בגבי מרומים. הוא אלוהינו אדון אמת מלכנו וסגולתו, ככתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום והשבות אל לבבך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ מתחת.
למלך על כל הארץ. ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד, ושמו You are welcome to be seated. On page 58, you'll find Kaddish Yatom, our Mourner's Kaddish, and as we prepare to recite Mourner's Kaddish this evening, we extend our condolences and hugs of support to the family of Ira J. Friedman, husband of Jerry Bensky Friedman, and connected to the Grossman, Meg Grossman as well, and to Bonnie Hartstein on the death of her father, Arthur Hartstein. I know both families, I believe, are still out of town, but heading back, and certainly we want to be able to give them our hugs of support during this difficult time for them. We also mentioned the names of those as we continue through the Shloshim period, those observing the Shloshim. So we keep in our thoughts Ronald Joseph Ronnie Ratcliffe, father of Rhonda Gorinsky, Lisa Starr Rosenstein, wife of Alan Rosenstein, Miriam Schlafsky, mother of Mark Samuels, and Margaret Peg O'Neill, mother of Kathy O'Neill. We also mention the names again of those yortzites that occur today and in the week that will be coming. Paul Bloom, Abraham Charlip, Edward Elam, Meyer Kalo, Sid Kabudi, Martin Kessler, Don Kincaid, Israel Liska, Jose Maldonado, Dina Morschauer, Sarah Morgan, Inda Penner, Bessie Pollock, Sarah Holloway, Clara Reich, Jacob Reback, Jaime Rybakowski, Robert Singer, and Adela Solomon. If there are any names that I did not recite that you are welcome to recite aloud or within your hearts at this moment. Those reciting Mourner's Kaddish, if you'll rise and join with me on page 58. Yit Gadal v'yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah, Bialma divra chirute biamlich malchute, v'chayechon uvyomechon uvchaye dechol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala ubizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehe shmei Rabbah mevarach leolam olamei olmaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudisha b'richu, La'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran bi'alma v'imru, amen. Yehe shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru, amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru, amen. You are welcome to be seated. Just a few quick announcements. You are going to want to tune back in if you're watching from afar, or come back tomorrow morning and join us for a wonderful Shabbat morning service at 9:15. And I don't know, is there anything special going on? No? Nothing? I asked you this the other day, and she's like, no, nothing going on, right? I think we're going to be celebrating a Bat Mitzvah. What do you think, Perry family? Should we do that? Yeah, we got thumbs up in the back. Leah, we're going to be celebrating with you as you become a Bat Mitzvah formally. You'll be teaching us a little bit. You'll be davening. You'll be reading from the Torah and chanting the Haftarah. We are proud of you. We're so glad you are here this evening to help us out, and we look forward to celebrating with you and your family as you become a Bat Mitzvah. So Mazel Tov, and be back here tomorrow, again, 9:15. We also have a few other announcements. Don't forget tomorrow, actually after the service, we will also have our Torah Talk session. We've been doing some Torah study, adding that back in now that we can do that hopefully safely. We've usually been outside for that, weather permitting, but we plan to do that after the service and a light lunch actually, so just be aware of that. If you want to come do a little bit of studying, that is available. We also have a couple of other announcements. please, we don't really want to announce this one, but we have to, I'm sorry to say, but Rabbi Ben's Farewell Barbecue, you may have seen the flyer come out in our weekly email. It is Sunday, June 13th, 6 to 8 p.m. here in the synagogue, socially distanced. Please bring your masks, of course, and you can look at the information after Shabbat and make your reservations. Order a ticket, if you will. You can also make a special donation in his honor to our religious school and our schools for scholarships and resources. And if you have any questions, you can send them to the RSVP line. We will get back to you, or call, of course. But we will sadly say farewell to Rabbi Ben, but we're going to at least feed him well as we do so. But we're sad to do that, but we want to send him off in grand style and in a Texas way, and so barbecue seems to be the best way we will, and we will give him our best wishes as he departs for exciting opportunities back in LA with his family in particular. So we're happy for him for that as well. So keep that in mind. That's June 13th. Don't miss out. There's also some things going on before that, of course. We have our Social Action Committee sponsoring Future Hopes and Challenges in Environmental Sustainability. We're going to review the year's focus, which has been recycling and environmental sustainability, with an eye on the challenges ahead. We've been doing this through the whole year. It's always been a fantastic experience, and we've been doing it by Zoom. So we thank Mike Ozer and those on the Social Action Committee for making this happen, Sammy Mazuz for her work in it. This will be Thursday, June 3rd. So Thursday night, June 3rd, 7 o'clock via Zoom. We'll have an expert roundtable, including our own Rabbi Richards, and hope that you will tune in as we kind of close out for the season this theme of environmental sustainability. It is an important thing that we need to be paying attention to as we work to make this world inhabitable for ourselves and for the generations yet to be. Also, a reminder, if you saw the email today, we are certainly stepping up our encouragement to get a COVID vaccine if you have not already gotten one. You can read the email message I wrote today, which gives you some sources from a Jewish perspective about that. And I know some of you asked as we were coming in tonight about our mask policy, given the CDC's changes and the governor's mandates. We are staying the way we are for the moment, but our COVID committee is active and has been discussing the issues, and we'll be getting with the board coming up. And so we will get information to you as soon as we can if there are any changes to be made. But we want you to know we are talking about it. We are looking at what our options might be and how we all daven and be together, how we are in this building together. And so we take it seriously from certainly a Jewish perspective. We are a Kehillah Kedosha. We are a holy congregation, and we're going to approach any changes or anything that we do in terms of the health of one another with seriousness and with a sense of mission in terms of making sure we are all protected in the way we need to be. So again, keep those things in mind, and we'll get to you as soon as possible. I also wanted to mention, I think that if it hasn't gone out already, there is an email that will go out over the weekend. Cantor Ken Cohen will be joining us for just a small visit this coming week, and so we will have the opportunity for the congregation, I believe Tuesday night, to get a chance just to say hello and welcome him into our Agudas family. And so if you haven't seen if it hasn't come out yet, it will, and then after Shabbat, and you will be able to have an opportunity to welcome him. So I know we have a farewell, but we also have a welcome. So there's our balance in our lives as we move forward. So keep that in mind. And this, we're going to, I think, are we doing Adon Olam? Whichever one you want. Adon Olam. All right, we're going to conclude with Adon Olam. And as they come back up, I want to thank Orit, as always, and Leah for helping us daven, Anthony for the beautiful piano, and Michael, as always, for our percussion. Such a treat for all of you to work together and make our Shabbat service so lovely and joyful and happy. And we have, for those of you watching from afar, you can't see, we have a wonderful crew here in our sanctuary. This is the most I think I've seen on a Friday night. Pretty close. So we are very happy to be in the building and celebrating Shabbat together. So thank you for being here. We're going to conclude on page 211. If you'll turn forward, there you'll find Adon Olam as we conclude 2:11.
Adon Olam Asher Malach B'Terem Kol Yetzer Nivra V'Yet Nasa V'Cheptzo Kol Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Azai Melech Shemo Nikra V'Acharei Kiflot HaKol Le'ado Yimloch Nora V'Hu Tifara, Behu Yeh Betifara, Behu Echad V'Yem Sheni Le'am Shilo Le'achbira B'li Reishit B'li Tachlit V'lo Ha'oz V'Hamisra V'lo Ha'oz V'Hamisra Behu Eli V'Chagoli B'tzor Chavli B'Yetzara V'Hunisi Umanos Li Menat Kosi B'Yom Ekra Menat Kosi B'Yom Ekra B'Yado Afkiruchi B'Et Ishan B'Yahira B'Imruchi Geviyati Adonai Li Velo ira Adonai Velo ira.
Shabbat Shalom!
Shabbat Shalom, hey Shabbat Shalom, hey Shabbat 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 Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, hey Shabbat Shalom, hey Shabbat 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 Shalom, Shabbat 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 Shalom, Shabbat 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 Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, hey Shabbat Shalom, hey Shabbat 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 Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Mazel Tov. Yay.
Thank you.
Hey, look at this. This is like
That's great. I think it's beautiful.
all right.